Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1802B, and today's date is February 27th, 2019, and the title of the episode is T-minus 21 days and counting. Big happenings are going to take place. I wanted to talk about getting prepared and being self-reliant. We've seen what the deep state is capable of. We've seen what the central bankers are capable of. And my main theme has always been to prepare for any situation. One of the best places I found to purchase survival supplies and emergency preparedness gear and food is My Patriot Supply. They understand the drive to practice emergency preparedness. Why? Because My Patriot Supply are active participants in the survivalist lifestyle. My Patriot Supply offers a vast array of survival items. Go to mypatriotsupply.com today and get prepared for any situation, because true freedom comes from attaining a certain level of self-reliance. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, today, Michael Cohen testified in front of Congress. And if we go back to our previous reports, we talked about the order in which this was going to happen. Cohen was going to testify, then the Mueller report, then the D-class OIG, and this is the first phase. So Cohen was out there, he was testifying in front of Congress, and Trump decided to tweet the following. Michael Cohen was one of many lawyers who represented me, unfortunately. He had other clients also. He was just disbarred by the state Supreme Court for lying and fraud. He did bad things unrelated to Trump. He is lying in order to reduce his prison time using Crooked's lawyer. Now, Cohen is represented by Lanny Davis, who worked as the advisor for President Clinton, and this is who Cohen is using. The deep state is pushing the same narrative, that Trump is a racist, he paid off the porn star, he's not nice, and of course there's no proof behind any of this. Cohen also alleged that the president knew ahead of time that Roger Stone, the Republican operative who worked as an informal advisor to the Trump's presidential campaign, coordinated with WikiLeaks to dump a tranche of Democratic National Committee emails during the 2016 presidential race, which we know is completely false. Cohen also presented Trump financial statements to Congress with his dealing with the Trump Tower in Russia. Now, I don't even know if that's legal, because they're not Michael Cohen's financial information. This is a deal that Trump was working on, and Michael Cohen at the time was his lawyer. And this is, client-lawyer privilege here. So I don't even know how that is legal. But again, the deep state, they don't care about the rule of law or anything like that, because they raided Michael Cohen's office. So GOP tweeted out the following. This week, Michael Cohen is testifying before multiple congressional committees. It's obvious that the Democrats have scheduled these hearings as a way to distract Americans from the historic progress President Trump is making with North Korea. And they're absolutely right. Isn't it amazing that they chose today, where Trump is in Vietnam meeting with Kim Jong Un? This is very historic, where 1 minute we were going to war with North Korea, the next minute Trump is negotiating a peace deal and denuclearization. They decided to have this hearing at the exact same time. Why? To make sure the news cycle had the Michael Cohen story and not what Trump was doing. This was pre-planned. Trump Jr. chimed in, and he tweeted out a lot today. He said, only Democrats could hate someone so much that they would try to disrupt nuclear peace talks with testimony from a convicted felon. Joe Pollak, who is the host of Breitbart Tonight, tweeted out the following. Michael Cohen's not saying anything new legally. His testimony exonerates Trump from telling him to lie to Congress. There's nothing new about collusion. And his recollection of things Trump said is unclear by his own admission. The rest is Lanny Davis talking through Cohen's mouth. And this is absolutely true. Actually, listen to Jim Jordan, to what he says to Cohen and everyone that was in the room.
Hearing presented by Lanny Davis. That's right. Lanny Davis choreographed the whole darn thing. The Clintons' best friend, loyalist, operative, Lanny Davis put this all together. You know how we know? He told our staff. He told the committee staff, he said the hearing was his idea. He selected this committee. He had to talk Michael Cohen into coming. And most importantly, he had to persuade the chairman to actually have it. He told us it took 2 months to get that job done, but here we are. He talked him into it.
As you can see, this whole thing was completely staged. And Jim Jordan also slammed the Democrats, saying that you leaked all of this information to CNN before the GOP had a chance to review the material. So once again, what happened here? Well, Cohen was planned to testify exactly when Trump was going to North Korea. They leaked what Cohen was going to be talking about to CNN, New York Times, and the rest. And everyone knew that Cohen was going to be coming out there saying that he's a racist, he's not a nice guy, he's a liar, and everything else. Sarah Carter came out and said, Michael Cohen's testimony isn't exactly the bombshell Democrats professed it to be. It is filled with speculation. The testimony he is providing the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee Wednesday reads like a jilted lover who's been damaged by a past relationship and one in which the other party, that being Donald Trump, never fully respected or considered as important. Cohen became one of Mueller's targets. Why? Because he is a flawed man. He had a past history of lying and took shortcuts in his business dealings that may have never been discovered if he didn't work for Trump. Cohen is an extremely flawed witness. This is why Mueller took advantage of the situation. They knew this. This is what Robert Mueller wanted. It was a strategy. Mueller and his team, like all government prosecutors, want to shake the vines all around Trump. They want to make Trump's life and those around him as uncomfortable as possible. That means anyone who worked on the Trump campaign was a target, and Mueller picked the best targets. They went after Cohen because they knew they got him on certain business dealings. And again, they have nothing on Russian collusion. You don't see anything that resembles this whatsoever. Now, Cohen did say something very interesting. He said, to be clear, Mr. Trump knew and directed the Trump-Moscow negotiations throughout the campaign and lied about it, Cohen said. He lied about it because he never expected to win the election. And this reminds me of post 2885, where, and this is not the only post, but Q continually said they never thought crooked Hillary would lose. It looks like Lanny Davis is telling Cohen to say the same thing about Trump, where he never expected to win. So he did all these things. So Cohen also said something else that's very interesting. He said, I'm going to let the American people decide exactly who's telling the truth. Now, this is coming from a liar, a man who's going to prison for lying, a man who cheated on his taxes, a man who lied about his business deals, and he's going to let the American people decide exactly who's telling the truth? Well, he's the liar, and he's continually lying, and Trump has been telling the truth. John Cardillo tweeted out, Michael Cohen pled guilty to making false statements to a financial institution, i.e. bank fraud, yet he just testified that he never defrauded a bank. He literally just lied to Congress again. Well, I guess he doesn't care because he already lied once. What's the difference if he lies again and again and again? So he's continually lying, but CNN, surprisingly, did call out Cohen on a lie where he said he never had aspirations in wanting to be in the White House. And Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, and CNN said, well, that's not true because he wanted to be in the White House. He wanted to be chief of staff. So again, this is lie number 2, but there's many, many more lies. So the whole thing was that they were looking for Russian collusion. Michael Cohen was asked, do you have evidence of Russian collusion? No, but he said he has suspicions, which is meaningless. But the real collusion is right here. And this is a tweet from Representative Jim Jordan. He said, what did you talk to Mr. Schiff about? Cohen, I spoke to Mr. Schiff about topics that were going to be raised at the upcoming hearing. Whoa, not just what time to show up, actually what you're going to talk about? So why is Schiff discussing the topics with Cohen? That's not what he should be doing. Remember, this whole thing was a setup. It was pre-planned, pre-scripted, and I believe this is why Q continually says, enjoy the show, because we are watching a scripted show. Listen to what Jordan said to Cohen.
I got 8 seconds. What did you talk to Mr. Schiff about?
I spoke to Mr. Schiff about topics that were going to be raised at the upcoming hearing.
Whoa. Not just what time to show up, actually what you're going to talk about?
The gentleman time to expire.
Now, as you can see, Jim Jordan cornered him into admitting that he spoke to Schiff, that this was pre-planned and everything else. Tom Fenton tweeted out the following. Still waiting for Congress to bring in Hillary Clinton's lawyer to testify. How true. He continued, it is never about Russia. The targeting of a president at real Donald Trump serves to protect Hillary Clinton and her enablers and co-conspirators in the Obama administration from prosecution. That is exactly right. Mark Meadows said the following in a tweet. The Oversight Committee isn't just rolling out the red carpet to a convicted liar. They're letting him intentionally break committee rules. Michael Cohen purposely broke the 24-hour disclosure rule and hid his so-called evidence from Congress. We just got it this morning. Mark Meadows continues. I just entered a referral for criminal investigation of Michael Cohen, who violated the Foreign Agents Registration Act by illegally lobbying on behalf of foreign entities without registering. Podesta did it. Manafort did it. Mark Meadows continues. Cohen talks about blind loyalty. His real blind loyalty is to the almighty dollar. Cohen is pretending that he didn't read it, he didn't understand it. His legal counsel said this is fine. He's a lawyer. He knows exactly what he had to do. And he didn't do it. Why? Because he was trying to get away with something. So what was Meadows talking about? Well, he was talking about Novartis, which Cohen paid $1.2 million to act as a consultant on the Trump administration, as well as $150,000 from South Korea aerospace industry and a payment from Kazakhstan BTA Bank. Here's the exchange. Meadows, I'm going to go back to the question I asked before with regards to your false statement that you submitted to Congress. On here, it was very clear that it asked for contracts with foreign entities over the last 2 years. Have you had any foreign contracts with foreign entities, whether it's Novartis or the Korean airline or Kazakhstan BTA Bank? Your testimony earlier said that you had contracts with them. In fact, you went into detail. Cohen, they're not government agencies. They are privately and publicly traded companies. Meadows, did you have foreign contracts over the last 2 years? Cohen, foreign contracts. Meadows, contracts with foreign entities. Cohen, yes. So Meadows is bringing charges against him over a FARA violation. Podesta ring a bell, Manafort, but Podesta was tipped off and filed it afterwards. Manafort didn't. But here are the charges that Cohen has been brought up on. Tax fraud. The criminal information supplied by federal prosecutors charges Cohen with evasion of personal income tax from 2012 through 2016. Number of counts, 5. Maximum prison sentence per count, 5 years. Maximum term of supervised release per count, 3 years. Maximum fine per count, $100,000. Making false statements to a financial institution. Prosecutors charge Cohen with making false statements to a financial institution in connection with a credit decision from about February 2015 through April 2016. Number of counts, 1. Maximum prison sentence per count, 30 years. Maximum term of supervised release per count, 5 years. Maximum fine per count, $1 million. Unlawful corporate contributions. Prosecutors charge Cohen with willfully causing an unlawful corporate contribution from about June 2016 through about October 2016. Number of counts, 1. Maximum prison sentence per count, 5 years. Maximum term supervised release per count, 3. The fine is $250,000. excessive campaign contributions. Prosecutors charged Cohen with making an excessive campaign contribution on October 27, 2016. Number of counts 1. Maximum prison sentence per count 5 years. Maximum term of supervised release per count 3 years. Fine $250,000. Now, Lynn Patton, she was brought into the hearing, and she was right behind Mark Meadows. And Lynn Patton is a senior official at HUD, works with Trump. She was there to counter what Cohen was saying about how Donald Trump was a racist. Because, again, she is black, she's working with Trump, and she said she would never work for a racist. Michael Cohen worked for Trump for many, many years, and I believe it was 15 years or so. And the truth is that it doesn't take, 15 years to call someone a racist unless they're not one. So Lynn Patton is friends with Michael Cohen. They were very good friends. Michael Cohen brought her in to meet Trump to get hired. What does that tell you? Why do you think they put Lynn Patton up there? She knows what's going on. It was a message to Cohen. Now, Lynn Patton wrote on her Facebook page, this was back in January, she said, first of all, Trump doesn't use emails. He doesn't use texts. So if you hear stories about emails or texts where Trump is saying something, they're going to be false. He doesn't use them. As you can see with Kim Jong Un, he sends letters to him. But Lynn Patton said the following: what many of you may not be aware of is the fact that I can personally confirm that the only reason Michael Cohen turned on the President of the United States is because Mueller threatened to throw his wife in jail for up to 30 years. Period. She is the co-guarantor of a $20 million personal loan that Mueller discovered that Michael secured back in 2015 by falsely inflating the value of his taxi medallions, effectively making her part and parcel to the federal charge of making false statements to a financial institution, to which Cohen ultimately pleaded guilty. This is also the reason why Cohen's longtime taxi medallion partner, Evgeny Jean Friedman, was granted immunity. Michael Cohen also told me after they raided his apartment that the reason why he elected to pay Stormy Daniels $130,000 by using his home equity loan, effectively committing bank fraud, instead of easily using the over $5 million plus cash he was sitting in various stateside banks' accounts, is because his wife controls their finances, and he simply did not want her to notice the missing money, as many husbands wouldn't consider it to whom it went. Period. Moreover, he confessed to me that he never imagined in a million years that Trump would actually win the presidency, and that the misappropriation of his home equity loan would ever be exposed, since thousands of Americans misuse this type of line of credit to pay for colleges, boats, cars, vacations every single day. By Cohen's own admission, Trump ceased all interest in communications and constructions with Trump Tower in June of 2016, over a month before officially being declared the Republican nominee for president. To that end, it is not illegal for him to explore nor deny any for-profit construction projects during the campaign, as he was still a civilian global real estate mogul. BuzzFeed themselves officially admitted on CNN this morning that they have yet to independently confirm or see any evidence that corroborates their story. Now remember, this was back in January. So right there, Lynn was put out there, right behind Meadows, on purpose. It was a message to Cohen. And you can see the Cohen show is now over. Now it's going to be going behind closed doors. They'll find out absolutely nothing. And guess what? Now the real fireworks start to happen. But you can see the deep state, they are continually trying to push their agenda in every way possible. Andrew Cuomo in New York, the governor, he signed the confiscation gun bill into law. This is the red flag law, which will take effect in 180 days. The legislation allows the court system to seize legally owned firearms without a criminal conviction. Private individuals, law enforcement, and school administration can request that judges impose gun confiscation on those they personally deem a threat to themselves or others. The bill lays out a process through which a judge can issue an order preventing individuals deemed to be security risk from either possessing or buying a gun for 6 days. During that period, a hearing will be held in which the judge could extend the gun ownership ban for up to 1 year, all without any form of criminal conviction, and merely at the request of an individual who deems another to be a dangerous threat. So right now, you can see that they're pushing this idea where someone can just say, I believe this person is a threat to themselves and to society, and we should look into it. Representative Jim Jordan said this H.R. 8 bill, well, this whole bill, the real aim is to use it to criminalize private gun sales and to set up a national gun registry. They're doing whatever they possibly can to get the weapons away from the people, because an armed population has a voice. A population that is not armed does not have a voice. We see the Senate is moving to confirm a Trump nominee for the Ninth Circuit Court. This is Eric Miller, and this is Trump's nominee for the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. It's heading for confirmation by the U.S. Senate as the first such nominee ever to gain approval without a home state senator's blue slip. So it looks like Trump hopefully will get this individual into the Ninth Circuit. Now, out in Venezuela, we see China and Russia. They have come together now and they oppose foreign military intervention in Venezuela. And they are taking concrete steps to back Maduro. And right now, China and Russia, they are the two biggest powers backing Maduro. And the question is, once again, why would Trump start a war? He's in North Korea talking about peace. The Afghanistan peace talks are going really, really well. And we're withdrawing the troops from Syria. All the other talk that you hear and everything else that you hear of troops staying in Syria, that this is not going well, these are all the people that are against Trump from doing what he's doing. They don't want peace. These are warmongers. And they're going to do whatever they possibly can to try to keep their war moving along. Look at all those people who want war, who are creating bills to stop what Trump is trying to do. Those people are not with Trump. We see that Trump is now meeting with Kim Jong Un, and they're having dinner. Trump tweeted out the following: "Great meeting and dinner tonight in Vietnam with Kim Jong Un of North Korea. Very good dialogue. Resuming tomorrow." He continued, "Great meeting and dinner with Kim Jong Un in Hanoi, Vietnam tonight. Looking forward to continuing our discussion tomorrow." And since he's in Vietnam, he decided to go after his buddy Blumenthal, where he continually says that Blumenthal has lied about his heroism in Vietnam and everything else. He tweeted out the following: "I have now spent more time in Vietnam than Da Nang Dick Blumenthal, the third-rate senator from Connecticut. How is Connecticut doing? His war stories of his heroism in Vietnam were a total fraud. He was never even there. We talked about it today with Vietnamese leaders." He continued, "All false reporting, guessing on my intentions with respect to North Korea. Kim Jong Un and I will try very hard to work something out on denuclearization and then making North Korea an economic powerhouse. I believe that China, Russia, Japan, and South Korea will be very helpful. The real work will begin on Thursday when the negotiations between the two sides begin in earnest." So they are pushing very hard to get this deal done in North Korea. And the mainstream media and all the warmongers, they're the ones who don't want this to happen. They're the ones who don't want to report on us. They're the ones who don't want to show that this is an historic event. Instead, they have this criminal sitting in front of Congress telling more lies. Breaking 911 tweeted out the following: "Breaking. In a deal witnessed by U.S. President Donald Trump and Vietnamese President Vietjet signs firm order to buy 100 new Boeing 737 MAX planes worth $12.7 billion at list price. So it looks like Trump just made a deal in Vietnam while he's discussing the summit and peace and denuclearization with Kim Jong Un. Let's get into some of Q's posts here. We have post 2899. Q posted photos of Feinstein and Murkowski. These are from the Kavanaugh hearing from post 2345 on October 5th, 2018, and it shows Feinstein standing very close to Murkowski. Murkowski is against the wall. In one photo, Feinstein has her hand against the wall, or it looks like she's slapping the wall. And there's another photo showing that Feinstein looking very angry, Murkowski pleading with her, please stop, please stop. Under this, Q gave us an article from The Hill, and it says Murkowski to vote for resolution blocking Trump's emergency declaration. Senator Lisa Murkowski said Tuesday that she will support a resolution blocking Trump's emergency declaration to construct the U.S.-Mexico border wall. Asked if she was supporting the resolution, she said yes. Q says puppet and puppet master. Q. Post 2900. Q posts the following, and it's a picture of Spike Lee with Trump, and it says, exactly when did Spike Lee find out that Trump was a racist white supremacist? Good question. Under this it says, truth versus lies, the propaganda war for your mind. So during the Oscars, Spike Lee gave a speech, and it was very difficult to understand that speech, and he took a shot at Trump. In his movie Black Klansman, at the end of the movie, he took another shot at Trump, making people believe that Trump is a racist. Spike Lee was a friend of Trump, and the question is, when did things change? Well, we all know the answer. When he ran against Hillary Clinton and became president. I wonder who's pulling his strings. Post 2901. Q, and this is all brackets, bold caps, internal civil war. All-out assault against the duly elected President of the United States. We have never experienced anything like this in our country. Treason and sedition at the highest levels of office throughout many departments. F+D. Propaganda arm fake news media of the D Party in full attack mode. No facts, only statements. Propaganda arm fake news media of the D Party limit sheep, you, from learning the truth. Propaganda arm, fake news media of the D Party retain control of narrative, control over you. House D's in full attack mode, no facts, only statements. Senate D's in full attack mode, no facts, only statements. This is their last stand. Fear of prosecution, fear of the public learning the truth, fear of losing power, bribes, blackmail, threats, etc., all being deployed. We are at war. Q. The war is real. There is a war going on in the world between the elites, deep state, central bankers. They know when they lose, they will be charged with sedition and treason. This is their last Hail Mary. They will throw everything at Trump they possibly can. They know if this doesn't work, the arrests will happen. They will be tried for treason, crimes against humanity. It will not go well for them. And they're trying to control the narrative, but they will fail. Remember, they're using all their ammunition. They believe they are strong, but they are weak. Trump, the Patriots, they are strong. They're waiting for the right moment to strike. Remember, the next turn is the Patriots. The Patriots will throw facts and truth at them. There's nothing to shield that with. Propaganda, that just disappears. Post 2902. Q put up a meme, and it says 6 explosive uranium-1 facts. Secretary Clinton betrayed America. The former head of Russia's uranium company made 4 hidden donations to the Clinton Foundation totaling $2.35 million. Bill Clinton bagged a $500,000 speech in Moscow paid for by Kremlin-backed bank. The FBI has uncovered evidence that Russia nuclear industry officials engage in bribery, kickbacks, extortion, and money laundering. the Clinton Foundation received $145 million from foreign investors involved in the uranium deal. FBI agents have an eyewitness and documents to support the most explosive parts of the Uranium One story. Clinton megadonor Frank Holmes lied about selling Uranium One before Clinton approved the Russian transfer. Under this, it says, when the real truth, i.e. Russia collusion, is right in front of you, but the fake news media prevents public awareness, conformity, and behavior. Q. So remember, Q has been telling us that they've been removing the firewall that blocks Clinton. They removed those individuals from the FBI. They removed those individuals from the Department of Justice. The mainstream media is still protecting Clinton. That is still in place. Soon it will be removed and the people will know the truth. Because as Q would say, we are the news now. And the mainstream media, they won't know what to do when all this stuff breaks. It's either they can spin their lies and people will turn away from them, or they can start reporting on it. Post 2903, and Annan said, feeling like Annans in U.S. will be up late tonight following POTUS Q in Vietnam. Q said, it's going to be historic. Planned long ago. Brackets minus 21. Within the next 21 days, big happenings are going to take place. So the countdown is happening. T minus 21 days. Big happenings are going to take place. We talked about how this was going to break down in previous reports. The Cohen testimony was going to happen in front of Congress. That has just happened. Next, the Mueller report will be released. Next, D-class of FISA. Then OIG. Then the Clinton investigation. We are counting down now. Post 2904. Q says the armor of God. Finally, be strong in the Lord and his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of the dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you'll be able to stand your ground. And after you have done everything to stand firm then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for all the Lord's people. Now, this is not a physical war that Q is talking about. This is a war with other people, and the war is against good and evil. And this was taken from Apostle Paul's letter to the church. Let's move on to post 2905. And Annan posted photos from Vietnam, and it shows different pictures of the restaurant, inside of the restaurant where the table is set. There's another picture, another view of the restaurant. And all these pictures say, peace is the prize 1, peace is the prize 2, peace is the prize 3, peace is the prize 4. And it shows different views of where the meeting is going to be held. And under this it says, we are the war, tomorrow is about peace, the future is ours. Under this it says, test 5, Q. Now, when you look in these photos, you see a reflection in there. And this is the last photo where you see a table, and to the left, you see someone in the picture. But where did these pictures come from? Well, if you do a little bit of searching, you find out that these pictures come from TikTok by Bloomberg. And there was a tweet, and it says, in photos, this is the Le Club Bar in Sofitel Legend Metropole Hanoi Hotel, which appears to be preparing for Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong Un's meeting later tonight. So this is from TikTok by Bloomberg. So it looks like maybe someone in Bloomberg, someone there, might have taken these pictures. So when you look at this, you can see the original pictures. They were taken by Derek Wallbank. Now, he's the breaker of news for Bloomberg, former chairman of the board of National Press Club, and he tweeted out the following: I found a side door that wasn't blocked off, and when I went through, I took some photos. I'm 6'2", bold American dude wearing 2 press credentials. So, anywho, here it is, what appears to be the dinner table set for Donald Trump and Kim Jong Un. Now, in the pics, we can see there's a reflection, and there's an individual wearing a blue check shirt. Did a little bit of search on the internet, and we find that Derek owns the exact same search. So it looks like he was the one that fed the pictures over to this post. Post 2906, Q asks the question, Annans have the originals. How is that possible? Test number 6, Q. Now remember, back in post 1446, Q says the following: every single picture posted is original, pulled, wiped, or taken. Think about what that means. So it doesn't mean that Q takes every single picture, because it says pull, wiped, or taken. So it looks like Q might have pulled these pictures from this individual who took them. So Q gets them from other sources also. So the rest of the posts are tests, and it looks like Q is testing a device, either a new device or multiple devices. When looking at the test post 2909 through 2910, they have the same timestamp, 12:03:22, and the last post 2011, the timestamp is 4 seconds later. Each test has a different ID, and here's the breakdown of the test. Test 1 and 2 are missing. Test started on February 25th with test 3 with post 2898. Test 4 is missing. Test 5 is missing. Test 6 through 8 are post 2906, 2908. Test 9 is missing. Test 10 is post 2911. Test 11 is post 2910, and test 12 is test 2909. So those are in reverse order. So what are these tests for? We don't know as of yet, but we can see that Q is definitely testing something. And we can see that the deep state, they are going to be using all of their ammunition. And they continually are throwing everything they possibly can at Trump, because they realize, they understand that D-class is coming and they need to get Trump out of office any way they possibly can. But it's not going to work. And you ask why? Because what do the Patriots have? They have the Mueller report coming. It's going to show no Russian collusion. Senate, House, Mueller report, no Russian collusion. What's next? Trump releases the declassification, then releases the OIG report, then releases the investigation into the Uranium One, the Clinton email server. The deep state, the mainstream media, they will not be able to handle all of this. We will then see the indictments become unsealed. We will then see arrests, and you'll see the deep state, the mainstream media, scramble. We are now counting down T-minus 21 days. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.